Half, 3 3/4. Good evening and welcome to the Town Council meeting for Monday, December 11th. Thank you to those who are in the room joining us tonight, as well as those who are watching by social media or the town's TV station. At this time, we're now called to order, and we'll start the meeting off with the opening prayer by newly elected council member Kalisha Dixon, who we are thrilled to have on our team.
Thank you, Mayor James. Father, we thank you for your love. We thank you for your grace. We thank you, God, that you brought us through this day. Father God, as we're about to begin this meeting, I pray that your presence will be with us, oh God. Father God, I pray that you bless the council and the police officers. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Councilmember Dixon. And at this time, Councilmember Brown will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, so please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you all so much. At this time, we'll continue on with the approval of the agenda for tonight's meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
Also moved.
Moved by Councilmember Blunt. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember McBride. Any corrections or edits to the agenda? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. Thank you so much. At this time, I'll call for a motion to approve the November 13th Town Council meeting minutes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Brown. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Blunt. Are there any corrections or edits to the minutes? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. Thank you so much. At this time, it's my privilege to turn the meeting over to Deputy Chief Dickerson, who will move us through the presentations for swearing in 2 of our newest police officers.
Mayor, council members, all attendees. To come up and swear our 2 newest additions in. Okay.
All right, thank you, Deputy Chief Dickerson. At this time, pleased to administer the oath of office to both of you. So please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, please state your name.
I, Joel Pichardo. I, Greg Webb.
Having been duly appointed
Having been duly appointed
as a police officer,
as a police officer,
effective for you, Officer Pichardo, October 12th,
effective October 12th,
and for you, Officer Webb, effective December 5th,
Effective December 5th.
for the town of Bladensburg,
for the town of Bladensburg,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will bear true allegiance
that I will bear true allegiance
to the United States of America,
to the United States of America,
the state of Maryland,
state of Maryland,
and the town of Bladensburg,
the town of Bladensburg,
that I will support
that I will support
the charter and laws
the charters and laws
of Prince George's County
of Prince George's County,
and the town of Bladensburg,
the town of Bladensburg,
and that I will obey
and that I will obey
the orders of the governor,
the orders of the governor,
and the officers appointed over me,
and the officers appointed over me,
according to the rules and regulations
according to the rules and regulations
of the Bladensburg Police Department.
of the Bladensburg Police Department.
I will,
I will,
to the best of my skill,
to the best of my skills,
judgment, and ability,
judgment, and ability,
with diligence and faith,
with diligence and faith,
without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office
execute the office
of police officer
of police officer
for the town of Bladensburg, Maryland.
for the town of Bladensburg, Maryland.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I just need your signature here, please.
Uh-oh. That is nice.
Well, thank you, Mayor James, for swearing in our new officers. Officers Webb and Pichardo, you are officially sworn in as Bladensburg police officers. Please pay attention to the oath you just took and understand it from top to bottom. All right? So I have the distinct pleasure of pinning you guys with your badge, and that will further your official status as police officers. First, I will pin Officer Pichardo.
We'll just give it a few moments for them to exit. Bear with us if you're watching remotely. Just give us a moment. All right, thank you for your patience. We just wanted to allow a few minutes for the officers to exit. But again, we're so pleased to welcome Officer Pichardo and Officer Webb to the Bladensburg family. At this time, we will continue on with our meeting. The next item up is public comments.
Hi, Mayor. We have a sign-in list. Renee Green is online and she would like to speak. She's on our Zoom. It's going to just take 1 second for Ms. Green. We're going to unmute you. I believe we can do that on the, or you can try to unmute. Okay, you're up.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right. Good evening, Mayor James, it's the town council and staff and everyone. I just had a brief update for the Patriotic Committee, and Veterans Day ceremony went really well. We had 2 guest speakers. Chris Mendoza talked about his career in the Air Force for 20 years. And then we had Amy Hollis, who was the engineer project manager that restored the Peace Cross. So both of them were really interesting, and we had a great program. You can still hear me? And then there was a small ceremony on December the 7th for Pearl Harbor, led by Chris Mendoza and attended by myself, Chief Collington, and a couple other police officers, and Mr. Reinhardt. The memorial is in bad shape. It's really hard to even see it unless you know exactly where it is. We will be looking at an Eagle Scout project to restore that in the spring, hopefully. And the Amen Trust is going to help finance for that. I'm on the board for the Amen Trust, and we are going to step up to help with that. The next patriotic event will be on Memorial Day. So thank you very much. And I hope everyone has a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Thank you so much for that update, Ms. Green. Uh-oh, are you getting feedback? Okay. At this time, Town Administrator Bailey Hedgepeth, I know you mentioned there's a sign-in sheet, so I'll turn it back over to you.
The next person on the sign-in sheet is
I used to laugh at my mother when she said she knew cold weather was coming or it was raining. Now I don't laugh anymore because it's like, oh, my knees, oh no, right. Good evening, everyone. Susan McCutcheon, I live on Spring Road. Good evening, Mayor and Council and the town staff and everybody listening in. First of all, I want to follow up about the maglev. Was mentioned earlier in the work session with transportation issues. There will be a decision by the Maryland Department of the Environment in February about whether Baltimore Washington Rapid Rail can do an end run around the process and get approval for Tier 2 water permitting, even though they don't have a final route. And basically what they're trying to say is, oh, well, we're not going to mess things up too much, and we'll tell you later how we're going to fix it. So as far as pollution goes. Second of all, I was at 2 interesting meetings last week, 2 meetings that people really need to know about and become involved, in addition to fighting the maglev, is revisiting the sector plan, which was mentioned in the work session. There was a meeting at Comar Manor Town Hall last week, and the idea of this is to revisit it, and I brought up and others brought up some questions about have they looked at other things that we've done, about branding, about other kinds of things too, to be sure, because Maryland National Capital Park and Planning, they're quite wonderful, but they are also not necessarily attuned to things, shall I say. But the sector plan is, what does it matter? The community will help the project team create the vision and goals for the future of the port towns. The plan, based on many factors, will create the framework for how the area will grow and develop to meet the vision and goals. So please look for surveys and participating in the planning process, including community meetings. There's more going to come up. There was an announcement and announcements in English and Spanish, but I think it kind of took people by surprise. I know I see a lot of things in the community advertisements, and it just came up, and it was like, where are they already starting to get information? And next, a feasibility study for construction of a new community center. It was at the community center, again, park and planning, and they kind of mishandled how the advertisement was. It wasn't intended to be a full community meeting. It was to really reach out to people seniors basically, who are very active and who really go to the center and had ideas. So it wasn't a huge community meeting, but then they got confused with a flyer and all sorts of mess. But the bottom line is, it's a feasibility study for a new community center. Several of us were there, and a lot of good ideas were already bandied about. So look for surveys, and please become involved. Don't be put off if you feel it's too much. Don't be put off. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. McCutcheon. T.A. Bailey.
Yeah,
HVAC.
yeah. The last one is Nana Malia. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sorry. I wanted to make sure.
Hi, my name is Nana Malaya. Is it on? Yes. Okay. And first of all, greetings to everyone, mayor, council members, staff, and guests. I live in Bladensburg condos, and I'm here because they just shut down all the streets around me. 52nd Avenue is shut down, and I think it's 48th Street are the correct terminologies. I know I ride and drive on them all the time. One of the things I wanted to inquire about, as well as make a public notice about, is that I wanted to encourage more signage for the things that have been shut down. Because most of the time cars come upon these giant barricades and it just says, "Do not enter." The one that's at 52nd Avenue that comes through the warehouse district, is a big sign, but there's nothing before you get there that says road closed ahead, maybe detour, so people would know how to get out of there. So a lot of traffic is being congested there, and also people are coming down that road anyway. So there's bound to be an accident sooner or later because people aren't sure what to do. They're confused, and so they come through, and so you've got folks juxtaposition trying to get up there. The other one, I'm in Bladensburg condo, so I'm on Newton Street. And if I leave out where I am and go down to the bottom of the hill, you can't make a right turn. And again, there's really no signage that says, coming up, left turn only, things of that might help. I know there was a discussion about it because I was involved in some of the discussions maybe as far as a year ago. But for it to come up, and it seems like it just popped up, even though it didn't, it seems like that because it's been a long time since it was discussed. But I think the signage, even the signage coming around, when you, I work at the public playhouse, and when you come out of the playhouse and you're going behind the playhouse, if you're trying to make a right turn, again, there's nothing that warns you that coming up on the street that either it's blocked off or it's going to be one way. So I think things like that would help because there is a lot of confusion, and the daytime is confusing enough. People can try and figure it out. There were a couple of workmen out there the first time they put it up with the stop and hold and that kind of stuff, and people were still ignoring them and going around. But I think without the signage, it's even more and more confusing. So whatever can be added that's simple and easy to understand, I think would really be helpful. Otherwise, we're going to have a lot of chaos, especially as the weather gets worse. Okay? All right. Thank you all. And thanks for the effort to stop that traffic, because I think one of the main reasons was for those tractor trailers, not to have them in the residential neighborhood. So, and I know after we talked about it, the very next day, one of them got stuck around that curve. So I understand the purpose for it. I just think now I live there. I'm familiar with it, but people come all the time. Also, sometimes if I'm not in a car driving, I'm taking a lift, and the lift was like, "This road is closed. I don't know how to get around." So there's no signage for them, and I don't know what it is about the GPS. Even though I'm giving credit to Dr. Gladys West created GPS, I'm not sure who reports it, so that taxis and those kind of companies have access to that information, so they know you can't go this way and give them an alternate route. So, okay. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Ms. Malaya. We appreciate the feedback, and also discuss this in the work session. So if you have an opportunity to go back, we'll take your suggestions, but also had a few other ideas led by Councilmember Brown. So we're on it. But yeah, we won't go back to the discussion, but just please check that out. Thank you for all the residents who took the time to share public comments. I also want to give a big amount of kudos to Ms. Renee Green, who helps us with our patriotic events year after year. That is very close to her heart, and she ensures that we do not forget about our veterans, those who served, their families who served. And so we appreciate all of her efforts to make sure that we honor them at Veterans Day and also on Memorial Day for those who did pay the ultimate sacrifice. And similarly, I believe she was out there for Pearl Harbor Day with former Councilmember Mendoza. I think members of the police department were out there as well. So she keeps us making sure that we do not forget our fallen soldiers, and we do appreciate all of her efforts. So at this time, we'll move on with the agenda. For tonight's meeting, we do not have any unfinished business, but we'll move into the financial business that was discussed during tonight's work session. The first item, budget adjustment 4-2024, was discussed for approval of a budget adjustment for expenses related to the technical assistance panel for consulting services and other related expenses for the Bostwick House project using ARPA funds. For those who didn't see the work session, we encourage you to go back as we discussed it. But in summary, the TAP funding is really the next step in the efforts of the town to move forward with preservation and renovation of the Bostwick House. We've had opportunities to get stakeholder feedback from members of the community, but we're at the point now that we have that information. We need to know from a technical expert, from architects and engineers, what really pencils out, so that we make sure the town is spending our resources on projects that are appropriate, applicable for the site, and that are truly SMART goals, things that we can implement and move that project forward. So Town Administrator Bailey Hedgepeth, I'll turn it over to you.
Mayor, would you like me just to read the ordinance into the record?
Or if you want to add any additional.
Sure. I guess I think you've covered a lot of it, but again, the technical assistance panel is with the Urban Land Institute, which is a collection of professionals from the Washington, D.C. area. They actually have technical assistance panels for a lot of major cities within the United States. So we're going to be using the D.C. ULI, which is the Urban Land Institute's panel. And then the other $25,000, again, will pay for a consultant that will specifically be working on the project on Bostwick House and handling this technical assistance panel. So if you'd like me to, I can read into the record the ordinance so that if that's required.
Yes, please.
Okay. Ordinance number 04/2024, a fiscal year 2024 budget amendment, an emergency ordinance to amend the operating budget of the town of Bladensburg, Maryland for the fiscal year 2024, starting July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024, whereas the town administrator of the town of Bladensburg has made a recommendation to the mayor and council to amend the FY24 budget to reallocate funds as part of this fiscal year, and whereas the mayor and council of the town of Bladensburg have determined that it is in the best interest to pass this budget ordinance at the December 11th, 2023 town meeting, now be it there enacted and ordained by the mayor and town council of the town of Bladensburg that the following amendments be made to the general fund operating budget for a Bostwick House. Number 1, to increase the contractual services under ARPA for $25,000, a technical assistance panel. Number 2, to increase the contractual services under ARPA for $25,000 for other consulting services, and to decrease the non-allocated ARPA funds by $50,000. There's a zero overall budget impact. And be it further resolved and enacted by ordained that the passage of this ordinance shall be authenticated by the signature of the mayor and the town clerk, and shall be recorded and kept for that purpose. In addition, this ordinance will be posted as a certified copy in the town hall for 10 days following the adoption pursuant to Article 2, Section 209 of the Charter of the Town of Bladensburg, and will be effective this 11th day of December, 2023.
Thank you, Town Administrator Bailey Hedgepath, for reading the ordinance. With that, I'll call for a motion to approve ordinance number 04-2024.
I so moved.
Moved by Councilmember Blunt. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember McBride. Are there any questions from the council or comments? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. Thank you all so much. The next item on the agenda is budget adjustment 5-2024 for approval of a budget adjustment to add recently awarded CDBG fiscal year 48R project expenses for $290,000 for the 57th Avenue sidewalks and paving, as well as bridge repair projects. And per the discussion on this line item in the work session, the council did ask staff to provide a list of the actual bridges, just so we're clear on where all those locations are. The 57th Avenue sidewalks and paving, that's been on the radar, so to speak, for a while. We're just now getting the funding for that. But Town Administrator Bailey Hedgepath, did you want to give more background?
Actually, I'm going to ask Mr. Tonelli to clarify the 125 in regards to what we had budgeted and why it differs a bit.
We had $165,000 already budgeted in the FY24 budget under other revenues, under grant revenues for CDBG funding, knowing that we were going to apply for something. We also had in there last year, but we didn't get an award last year. So there's revenue coming in and offset by this same amount of expenses going out because it's CDBG funded. So they will cover up to what, the full award is, so that the $125,000 increases the $165,000 to $290,000, which is for both CDBG grants.
Thank you for that, because that was one of my questions. The way the memo was written,
I know.
it appeared that it was $290K for the award. So when I was doing the math and then looking back at the breakdown for line item 4960, I was going, wait a minute, it's not.
That's the reason why I asked him to explain why the
Okay.
ordinance differs from what the amount we're actually being awarded. So that's why.
Okay.
So
I
we're just increasing the CDBG
Yep.
revenue in, expenses out to match what the actual.
So that's why I didn't want everybody to look crazy when I read it. So
I
because it's a little
appreciate the
different.
clarification. Any further questions from staff regarding this agenda item? All right, so with that, Town Administrator Bailey Hedgepath, would you mind reading
Sure.
the ordinance?
Ordinance number 05-2024, a fiscal year 24 budget amendment. An emergency ordinance to amend the operating budget of the town of Bladensburg, Maryland for the 2024 fiscal year, starting July 1st through July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2024. Whereas the town administrator of the town of Bladensburg has made a recommendation to the mayor and council to amend the FY 2024 budget to reallocate funds for this part of the fiscal year. And whereas the mayor and town council of the town of Bladensburg have determined that it is in the best interest of the town to pass this as a budget amendment ordinance at this December 11th, 2023 town council meeting, therefore be enacted and ordained by the mayor and the town council of the town of Bladensburg that the following amendments are made to the general operating fund budget for fiscal year 2024 for an award of 2 CDBG grants. An increase of CDBG revenues under restricted fund grants of 125 from 165 to 290 for the receipt of 2 CDBG awards in the amount of 155 for road improvements and 135 for bridge improvements. an increase in CDBG expenses under the restricted grants from 125 to 165 to 290 for expenses associated with the two CDBG awards of 155 for road improvements and 135 for bridge improvements. Overall budget impact, 0. And be it now further enacted and ordained that upon the passage of this ordinance shall it be authenticated by the signature of the mayor and town council and shall be recorded in a book kept for this purpose. In addition, this ordinance shall be published and posted in a certified copy in town hall for 10 days following the adoption pursuant to Article 2, Section 209 of the Charter of the Town of Bladensburg, and will be effective the 11th day of December 2023.
Thank you for that. So is there a motion to approve ordinance number 05-2024?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Brown. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Dixon. Any comments or questions for the town administrator? I just want to note, I'm super grateful for the amount of work that has gone into getting this funding to help with our road improvements. This is significant. We've done 57th Avenue, we've done Decatur Street with the WSSC infrastructure project. That took care of a lot of streets in Ward 1. State highways come in and worked on 769 for the short-term project. Things are happening, and so it really does feel good to be making significant progress on our roadway. So again, thank you to the staff for making this happen. If there's no further comments or questions, I'll now call for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye. Aye. Any nays? The ayes have it. Thank you so much. So we'll continue on with the agenda down to new business for contract approval 11-2024 for approval of a budget adjustment for expenses related to the TAP that was previously discussed. Town Administrator Bailey Hedgepeth, over to you.
Mayor and council, again, this is the related item to allow staff to enter into a contract with the ULI, which is the Urban Land Institute, for the $25,000, and to allow us to use the funds that were just amended in the budget for consulting services related to that project. And in the council agenda item, it does give you what the background of what what a TAP is, which is a technical assistance, and who are the panelists, and what are deliverables to expect. So from the standpoint of anybody who's looking at the agenda, all that information has been provided as part of this agenda item.
Great, thank you, Town Administrator Bailey Hedgepeth. Is there a motion to approve contract, is there a motion for contract approval 11-2024?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Brown. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Dixon. Any comments or questions regarding the contract approval? I'll just note, as the town administrator said, I encourage residents to read through the packet. One of the significant things is the panelists will usually include at least one nonprofit, one for-profit developer, a designer and/or planner, a market and/or financialist, and a regulatory expert. So again, this is expertise that we didn't necessarily have when we had our community stakeholder meeting. We had representatives from the local schools, business owners, a town representative, Amen Trust. And so again, this is the next step in moving our plans forward, getting the technical assistance to really see if this project, how it can pencil out and become realistic. So with that, if there are no other comments or, oh, I see a comment coming. Oh. Oh. All right, so, okay, Councilmember Brown.
I just want to say that it is very exciting, really, to see the movement that's happening with the Boswick House. So, kudos to our staff, to our team, and I'm just excited, and I look forward to actually really seeing what they're going to do with their presentation. So So I want to say thanks a lot. Looking forward, excited.
I am too. I can't wait till we can actually have a wedding at the Boston. I'm not
Yes,
saying
yes,
whose
yes,
wedding,
yes.
but
Some type of reception.
when it'll be nice to get it to that point where we can actually hold events there.
Yes,
So with that, I'll now call for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. Thank you so much. Huh? Oh, I might have a taker on the wedding. Hey, who knows? And so the next item under new business is Resolution 3-2024, a resolution to approve and grant permission to the Clean Water Partnership and its contractors and assigns to allow access and entry to municipal properties and right-of-ways within the town of Bladensburg in order to design, survey, locate utilities, test soil, locate and plant trees, and perform other duties in connection with installation and establishment of urban street trees. As residents may know, we've already started working with CCAR to get a grant for 300 trees, but that's not enough. We really need more of a tree canopy throughout the town for various reasons. And so from an environmental standpoint, this is helpful, but it's also helpful from a public safety standpoint where you have crime reduction through environmental design. And so this particular grant will go a long way with helping us to improve public safety. Not Councilmember Bailey Hedgepath, Town Administrator Bailey Hedgepath, would you like to give us a synopsis of this?
Mayor, I think you really did nail this one again, but this again is one of these, this grant is worth anywhere between, it's an in-kind grant, worth between $750 and $1 million of overall work that will be provided, because not only as part of the contract will they purchase the trees, but they will install, plant, and perform the surveying for the trees. So I think all the background is very important on that. And I would be happy to read this because this is a very long resolution. If you would let me read it, and I'll start it if I can.
So technically we should. It
Yes.
is a 3-pager.
It's a 3-page. If you
and
write
you've
about
been
it.
coughing, so
Yeah.
if we have to pivot, Mr. Tinelli, are
Mr.
you
Tinelli, you
willing?
ready to read page 2? I'll
to
start
do
page
it?
1. You read page 2.
Is that, can we tag team on this?
Okay.
Because I don't want her to have a coughing fit.
Thank you. I was just gonna say if I can read up to the page 1, and then you can read the page. Yep. No, it's the next one. It's the one before it.
And while you guys are bringing it up for the benefit of the residents, again, we did discuss this in the work session, and one of the questions,
page 2.
because normally when we have grants of this nature, they're handled more so on the administrative side of the house. But the police department, Chief Collington in particular, has assured us that he'll have the bandwidth on his team to have a dedicated person or two who's managing this project from the internal side of things. So it will, as you'll hear in the resolution, be managed completely by the police department.
Okay. So this is Resolution 4-2024, a resolution to approve and grant permission to the Clean Water Partnership and its contractors and assigns to allow access to entry on municipal properties and right-of-way within the town of Bladensburg in order to design, survey, locate utilities, test soil, locate and plant trees, and perform other duties in connection with the installation and establishment of an urban street trees. Whereas by Bill 991, the General Assembly established the Tree Solutions Now Act of 2021, that the policy of the state is to support and encourage planting private tree planting efforts, with the planting and helping to maintain 5 million sustainable native trees in the state by the end of calendar year 2031, and with the further intent of the General Assembly that at least 500,000 of those trees be planted in underserved areas, and that MDE serves as a lead agency to receive tree data from various agencies. And whereas through the collaboration with the town of Bladensburg and Prince George's County Department of the Environment Tree Program, the county has been informed by the Bladensburg Urban Tree Plan, reducing crime and increasing the quality of life through environmental landscaping, also known as the plan. And whereas the in-kind value of this is from $750 to $1 million based on the overall total work effort, number of trees, landscape work and design, and whereas the police department will lead this effort of the grant program through the community action team by continuing to build a strong relationship with residents, building bridges of trust, communicating about specific issues in each ward, which will lead to different and deterring efforts of deterring crime through environmental design and improving the quality of life for residents in the town of Bladensburg. And whereas the roadside trees is any tree whose trunk grows all or in part in a public right-of-way, regardless the ownership of that physical property, i.e. town planted streets within 50 feet, including improvised grassy areas of the street, and before the roadside is trimmed or cared for in any way. A tree care permit must be obtained from the DNR Forest Service, and
Whereas a permit is also required when underground construction such as tunneling, trenching, or boring impact the root zone of a roadside tree, and planting a tree within the public road right-of-way also requires a permit, and any work performed on a roadside tree must be done by a roadside tree care expert employed by a public agency or Maryland licensed tree expert. And whereas, unlike roadside tree project permits issued for a specific tree or group of trees for specific tree care operations, roadside tree blanket permits are issued for comprehensive and continuing programs of general tree care, such as those administered by state agencies, counties, municipalities, corporations, and public utilities. And whereas a map available, and the link is there, displays show the areas qualifying for funding through HB 991's Urban Trees Program, administered by the Chesapeake Bay Trust, and for tree plantings organized through Maryland DNR and other partners by meeting the bill's definition of underserved, and that's in the orange areas on the map. And whereas Prince George's County, also known as the county, seeks the right of access to plant trees within the town public spaces and rights-of-way through Department of Environment's Urban Tree Program, and whereas the plan includes the installation of native trees ranging in size from 1.5 inches caliper to no greater than 3 inches caliper, and the plan with tree installation is made possible through county funding and the Urban Tree Grant Program via the Chesapeake Bay Trust funding sources, and the plantings will count towards the Maryland General Assembly's 5,000 tree goal by 2031. And whereas a project will include an establishment and warranty period of 18 months or as acquired by the grantor, and whereas the Clean Water Partnership is a 30-year partnership between the county and Corvias Infrastructure Solutions LLC to identify, design, build, operate, and maintain stormwater assets, and is based on the community-based public-private partnership modeled as developed by the U.S. EPA Region 3. And whereas to implement the Bladensburg Urban Tree Planting Program, the town desires the Clean Water Partnership to install trees under the county's Urban Tree Grant Program on designated properties and rights-of-way within the municipality. And whereas a charter of the town of Bladensburg authorizes the council to make agreements and other governmental authorities for the joint performance of or for cooperation in the performance of any governmental functions, and to accept gifts and grants of federal or of state funds from the federal or state governments or any agency thereof, and to expend the same for any lawful public purpose, agreeably to the conditions under which the gifts or grants were made. Good, Sean.
Whereas the Charter Section 104 authorized the town to have control of all public ways in the town except such as may be under jurisdiction of State Roads Commission of Maryland or Prince George's County, and subject to the laws of the state of Maryland and the charter, the town may do whatever it deems necessary to establish, operate, and maintain in good condition the public right-of-ways of the town. And whereas,
You got it?
lost my page, give me a second. Whereas the Charter Section 209 further authorizes the mayor and council to pass certain legislation of a non-permanent nature regarding an administrative matter by resolution in lieu of ordinance. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town council hereby approves the grants permission to the Clean Water Partnership, including the county and its contractors, and assigns with the right of access and entry to properties and right-of-ways within the town of Bladensburg in order to design, survey, locate utilities, test soil, locate plants, trees, and perform other duties in connection with installation and establishment of the trees. And be it further resolved the town council hereby expressly grants a waiver from the strict application of said section regarding streets, constructions, permits, and improvements, and be it further resolved, the town council further delegates to the town administrator the requisite authority to execute on behalf of the town any appropriate indemnification of liability release forms approved for legal sufficiency and deemed necessary to be protected necessary to protect the town, and be it resolved that this resolution and is hereby adopted this 11th day of December 2023 and shall take effect immediately upon adoption.
Thank you, TA Bailey Hedgepeth, Treasurer Tonelli, and Code Enforcement Supervisor Reinhardt for the awesome tag team effort, 'cause that was a long resolution. Goodness. So with that, is there a motion to approve Resolution 4-2024?
So move.
Moved by Councilmember McBride. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Dixon. Are there any questions or comments regarding the resolution? I think not after 3 pages. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. Thank you so much. At this time, we'll proceed on to the final resolution for tonight, which goes back to the COG assignments that we discussed in the work session.
Nope, there's one more besides it.
Is there a?
It's number 4, it's the one for the, DCHD for the sustainability one.
I skipped, sorry about that.
That's all
So we
right.
had
We went
11-2024, Oh, you know what? That's what it is. So resolution on the document in the packet says 4-2024, but
And then
on the
Agenda,
agenda,
it says 5.
it says 3-320.
3. That's what happened. Is
Sorry
that,
about
sorry.
that.
We got the numbering wrong. Okay. So,
No worries. So, okay, let me take a step back
okay, thank you.
So we just need to correct that at the top of the document before we sign it.
Yep. I'll reprint it, Mayor, with the right
Okay.
number, and I'll make sure that we get the ones. So is it, let's see, on the agenda, it's 3 or is it 4?
Yeah, so it says 3-2024 on the agenda, but on the document, it says 4-2024.
Okay. I think 4 is right, because I think we added, 4 is actually right, the agenda's wrong. That's what must have
Okay.
happened, is that the agenda's wrong. Because
Okay.
we added in 1, and that's why the numbering changed on all of them. So I'm sorry. So yeah, the agenda is wrong. So the first one, the resolution for the partnership is 3. The DCHD is 4. And then and number 5 is the appointments. Is that still, that's what the agenda says? Is that right?
So.
The Clean Water Partnership one that we just read was 3. The one that you're about to read for the community development is 4.
Yep, and
And
then
number 5,
COG is 5.
yeah,
Yeah, so that's why I was saying it just needs to be updated on the actual document.
okay,
If you can,
okay,
are you able to edit that?
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then that'll be 3-2024 to match the agenda. Okay.
yeah.
So we're moving forward now with Resolution 4-2024, a resolution of support for the Port Towns' application of the Department of Community Development and Housing for the State of Maryland Sustainable Communities Renewal Application and permission to allow the town administrator to act on the town's behalf for submission.
Okay, it's no problem. A resolution to support the so do you need my, do you need a synopsis?
Yes.
So the synopsis on this, let me, the synopsis on this one is, again, the town is applying for its renewal of its Sustainable Communities application with the other port towns, and we're asking that each one of the port towns approve a resolution of support so that when we're sending this in to DCHD, which is the Department of Housing and Community Development, that we each have affirmed our sustainability goals for the overall agreement. This funding, this designation allows us to apply for several state grants, and without this designation, we're not eligible.
I think the proof of that is the funding that we're receiving. right, in this current year, so.
Well, yeah,
it
we're
makes a
going to apply
difference.
for in this current year, so,
Yeah.
because we haven't gotten any DCHD money, but we did get the money for the lighting on 57th Avenue from DCHD, so we would not be eligible for that, which is, which has to be spent this year without this, without this designation.
Great, thank you. So with that, are there any, or actually, let's get this on the table first. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 4-2024?
So move.
Moved by Councilmember Brown. Is there a second?
A second.
Seconded by Councilmember Blunt. Are there any questions or comments for the town administrator and staff? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. Thank you so much. Resolution 4-2024 has passed.
No, we don't have to read it, right? We don't have to do that.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay,
I
we
got
don't have to
ahead of.
I was like, it's okay.
Go,
we can-
go ahead. It's another tag team. It's 2 pages.
All right,
so-
it's a two-pager?
It's
Okay.
a 2-pager. So
All right, this one is actually
Sean,
shorter.
do you want to start?
Sean,
Switch up the order, or do you want to start TA and then pass
I
the
can start.
torch? Okay.
A resolution in support of the town's, this is Resolution 4-2024, a resolution to support the town's application of the Department of Community Development and Housing for the State of Maryland Sustainable Communities Renewal Application and permission to allow the town administrator to act on the town's behalf for the submission. The Sustainable Communities designation must be renewed every 5 years, and the town of Bladensburg partners on this application with other port towns, Colmar Manor, Cottage City, and Edmiston. And whereas the Sustainable Communities designations allow the port towns access to funding from the state of Maryland, and the town of Bladensburg will report on its accomplishments for its goals for the next 5 years. And whereas the sustainable community means that the needs of the present, without compromising the ability for future generation to meet their own needs. And whereas sustainable communities seek to optimize the quality of life for its residents by ensuring that environmental, economic, and social objectives are balanced and are mutually supportive. And whereas the town of Bladensburg strives to save tax dollars and assure clean land, air, water, and improve the working and living environment as a step to building a sustainable community that will thrive into the new century. And whereas the town of Bladensburg hereby acknowledges that the residents of the town of Bladensburg desire a stable future for themselves and future generation. And whereas the town of Bladensburg wishes to support the model of government that benefits our residents now and far into the future by exploring and adopting sustainable economic and local government practices. And whereas by endorsing a sustainable path, the town of Bladensburg is pledging to educate itself, its community members, and further about sustainable activities and to develop initiatives as supporting sustainable local government practices and maintain and promote our membership in the Maryland Green Registry. And
Whereas the elected representatives of the town of Bladensburg, we are responsible for providing leadership that will seek community-based sustainable solutions to strengthen our community. And whereas the town of Bladensburg authorizes the town administrator to submit the renewal and work with the other towns on renewal of this designation. Now, therefore, be it resolved that to focus attention and effort within the town of Bladensburg on matters of sustainability, the mayor and council wish to continue our support as directed in previous resolution of support by updating and replacing with this current resolution to pursue local initiatives and actions that will lead to recertification of the town's sustainable Maryland communities designation within the port towns. Be it further resolved that this resolution be and is hereby adopted this 11th day of December 2023 and shall take effect immediately upon adoption.
Thank you, team. Excellent job. So I think we've covered it with the vote already, but it was good to have this read into the record. So the next item that we have before the council for tonight is regarding the Washington Council of Governments appointments for the board and policy committees for calendar year 2024. In the work session, we did discuss those assignments. Let me flip back.
yes, Adam, too. Do you want me to read them, Mayor?
We have one amendment, so I was just trying to pull the list
No
up
problem.
so I could have that. Okay, here we go. So, I'll wait until after the motion is seconded and it's on the floor for discussion, but, for awareness, Councilmember, Dixon offered to be an alternate for Human Services Policy, with you, Councilmember Blunt. So, if we could,
Human Services.
okay.
Oh, I have her as the alternate.
Oh, you had her for Human Services? Because she
Oh, water
volunteered for.
resources.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Did you want to, well,
Also
let me
be-
get it on the floor, but I just wanted to share what
It
the
said she
options were.
volunteered. Okay.
So with that, is there a motion to approve Resolution 5-2024, appointing council members and staff to the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments? You guys are like, it's your turn. I've already done it. Mm-hmm. So.
Do you just
gotta
want to read
flip
the
back.
appointments then, Mayor? And
Let me-
that's your motion would be the
Sorry, I'm trying to
appointments?
flip back forward. Do you want to read it when we get to discussion, or you want to open with reading the resolution first with the names in here?
Either one, or you guys can just make it the motion that your motion would then include it as stated, and then that way I read it in however you guys want to vote it. So whatever the motion maker could say, these are the way that you want it, and then that would be their
And
motion.
then that's how you'll read the resolution? Okay. So, and let me
But if
just,
there's not discussion, I'm sorry, but you couldn't.
Councilmember Blunt,
Did you want to take on another one and I take on the food? Or you wanted to actually do the food one? Because I can take that on.
oh, okay. That's perfect. Thank you.
Both.
Okay. So, just so everybody's on the same page, so what we have for Region 4 Coalition is member name Bailey Hedgepeth here, and then alternate is Mr. Tonelli. For Human Services Policy Committee, we have Councilmember Blunt, and then Councilmember Dixon as the alternate. For CPC, we have myself and TA Bailey Hedgepeth as the alternate. For Chesapeake Bay and Water Resource, we have Councilmember Brown and then Councilmember Dixon as an alternate. Is that still okay, Councilmember Dixon? Okay. And then for Food and Agriculture Regional Member Policy Committee, we have Councilmember McBride and then alternate Councilmember Blunt.
Yes.
Got it? Okay.
Okay, got it.
So let me know if you got all that or
Got
if
'em
you
all.
need me to
No, I got it all
repeat.
down. I got 'em in
Okay.
there.
So I'll turn it over to you to read the resolution and then
Okay.
we'll vote.
I'll
Since
pull
we
it.
have them all out, we got them all clear.
And the
so-
motion and second was made by,
It wasn't.
okay. Okay.
It was kind of like, well, we have a resolution here, so should we read that first?
Okay, so I can read that in, hold on one
Okay.
second. All right, so then, this is, resolution, if you're ready, is 5-2024, a resolution appointing council members and staff to the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments, COG, to the COG boards and policy committees for the calendar year 2024. Whereas the town of Bladensburg is a member of the Washington Metropolitan Council of Governments, COG, and actively participates in various boards and committees. And whereas each year COG asks its members to confirm and appoint various members of committees and alternates who will serve each year. And whereas the town council in the December council work session discussed these appointments and made recommendations, be it resolved that the mayor and town council hereby appoints the following individuals as members and alternates to the following board and policy members for calendar year 2024. Region Forward Coalition, member name Michelle Bailey Hedgepeth, town administrator, alternate of Vito Tonelli, town treasurer. Human Services Policy Committee, Councilmember Marilyn Blunt, alternate Councilmember Kalisha Dixon. Climate and Environmental Policy Committee, Mayor James, and Town Administrator Bailey Hedgepeth. Chesapeake Bay Water and Resource Committee, Councilmember Trina Brown, and alternate is Councilwoman Kalisa Dixon. Food and Agriculture Regional Member Policy Committee, Council Member Carol McBride, and Council Member Marilyn Blunt as the alternates. Boom, is that right? Did I get that right? Okay, good. And then top of page 2 is, sorry, be it further resolved that this resolution shall be hereby adopted this 11th day of December 2023 and shall take effect immediately upon adoption.
Excellent. Thank you, Town Administrator Bailey Hedgepeth. Is there a motion to approve Resolution 5-2024?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Brown. Is there a second? Seconded by Councilmember Dixon. Any comments or questions regarding the resolution? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. Thank you so much. The resolution passes. And now it is time to move into staff reports. And so we will begin with Treasurer Tonelli.
My report's already submitted. Just in summary, we're a third of the way through the fiscal year. You can see we have just over a third of our total revenues in and have expended almost the same amount. And we are operating on a small surplus right now. But again, it's very early in the fiscal year. A lot of this is just timing differences. And this is only through October. November is not closed out yet just because of the timing of when the reports are done. And we actually just closed the month of November today pretty much. So just a couple other, just another thing. I don't know if everyone saw the MML announcement, the HUR cuts, and Governor Moore addressed it Thursday night at the MACO installment dinner of officers, and he's sticking by it pretty much. He's saying this is, the reality, and it's the Department of Transportation cuts. So unfortunately, we're hearing about, the road issues and everything, and just something to watch, in this upcoming session, obviously. We're working on back here. Looking at bringing on an AI software that will help in our accounting, that will capture all the invoices, code them, send them out for approvals to everybody, and bring them into the system, and store everything, and that'll be part of our scanning software package as well. And also looking at a civic management software with town administrator. Should probably touch on that. That will streamline our meetings and agendas and everything. So that's about it, if anybody has any questions. But again, my report's submitted online and to the mayor and council if anybody has any questions.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Tonelli. Are there any questions for Treasurer Tonelli? Hearing none, I'll move to Public Safety Deputy Chief. Any updates?
I have no updates at this time, Mayor.
Thank you. And you did give us a good summary regarding Annapolis Road in the work session, so we do appreciate that update there. Code enforcement.
Yes, again, as Mr. Tilley said, our report has been done online, but I did want to bring up something else. It is that time of year where we do our annual holiday light contest. That is actually handled usually through the code office. I just want to remind everybody that we will be going through and judging holiday lights on the single-family homes, townhomes, and apartments and condominiums. There will be one winner in each category for $100, and the judging will begin this week, and we would like to have the awards sent out by December 19th, so everybody can have them. So they'll start judging this week, so make sure if you want to register, please reach out to me through Town Hall, 301-927-7048, or you can email me at rreinhart, that's RRINEHART at bladensburgmd.gov. Make sure you get on the list if you want to be judged, and that'll be it.
There's some serious competition.
There is. So,
yeah.
So just
Yeah.
make sure you register so we know where to come.
Yep.
Come check out your house, and especially your apartments. If you don't have a balcony, do a window. We love to see the holiday spirit here in the town of Bladensburg.
What about the senior building?
You
Said
can
do
do a
a window. Make sure that,
They just have to, well, no, because they drive by.
Yep.
So they can't see the lobby from.
yeah, it's gonna have to be a window or a balcony or a home that's gonna have to be done that way.
Yeah.
But that may be something to consider the best of,
Maybe a
best
new
lobby
category.
next
Yeah.
year. So I'll take that, Santa Claus will take that under consideration.
Thank you, Santa. All
yes.
right. Thank you for those updates. Next, we'll turn it over to, Mr. Hall is not here.
Yeah, I was
but
gonna
his
read
report.
his report.
Yeah.
Just wanted to kind of plug for him is that they've been really busy. Actually, he worked all day today and wasn't feeling well, and I told him he could stay home because who wants to be here and you don't feel well? No, I'm joking. He said, not joking, ding. But so they've been really working on the leaf pickup, and I'd like to commend his new team. And he also has hired 3 new beautification specialists, it's been a nice addition. I really have seen them really working around the town, so that's been really helpful to get that help, especially in this time. So just for residents to know that the leaf vacuum season is from the 27th of November till January 5th. Because the leaves are almost finally down now, especially with this first snow-ish. I don't know if it snowed down here, but it snowed at my house today, so yeah, it snowed. It dusted. We had like an inch or two, but the snow did bring it down to last night. So that's so I just wanted to kind of give him his kudos for that because they do work really hard on doing a lot of this stuff, and I think that the residents really appreciate that kind of work that they do, so. And then just as Mr. Tonelli was saying in regards to administration, we are working on, you will see a announcement for the town clerk position go out on our website in the next day or two. I've been working on that, and as well, we'll have something for the a deputy town clerk that will replace the town secretary position that will also go out. And so that residents will have the chance to see both of those. But as Mr. Tonelli was mentioning, we are looking at automating some of the portions of what the clerk does with the agenda, like issues with trying to manage it all into one software. That way the council will also be able to go in and access it a little bit earlier, and the public will actually have it earlier because we can put it up almost simultaneoslaneously on the website. So it's not all of we do a lot of manual scanning of documents right now. So to streamline that would be a great thing. And then the other portion of the software that we're looking at is in our PIA requests, streamlining those so that they will now come in electronically, and then that information is put out to the different departments electronically. And we're copying some of the things that have been done by other cities, like Greenbelt has used the same vendor for theirs. And so both of those will help to, I think, make the job of the new town clerk a little bit easier so that they can focus on other things. And we're also working on the scanning issue to try to get our documents scanned. So I think those things will help the new town clerk as they get in to manage the processes. We won't fully implement them by the time that the person will start, hopefully, so that they'll have an opportunity to understand the process just as much as we do. So that's all I've got for today. The rest of my report was submitted.
Thank you for the updates for Public Works and Administration. I just want to highlight one of the things in Mr. Hall's report for the Public Works Department, which says, help keep Bladensburg clean. As hard as Public Works is working, in addition with now 3 new personnel, if we as residents don't keep our community clean, that says something about us. And so I'm encouraging you, if you see litter, you just pick it up, put it in the recycling or trash bin. Help us keep our community clean. It does us no good to have Public Works working Monday through Friday, and then Saturday people littering in the very same areas that they just spent cleaning up during the week. So we have to do our part. This is truly a team sport. With that, we'll proceed. We've completed the staff reports, and we'll now move into Mayor and Council reports, beginning with Councilmember Brown for Ward 1.
Thank you, Mary James. First, I would like to say this is going to be our last meeting in 2023. Hey, meeting. Yeah, this is our last meeting in 2023. Um, some of what I've been working on with Newton Green, and it's their lighting and their security. So they finally have a new resident manager, and she was a joy and pleasure to meet and work with. And she's over there getting some things done in terms of the security cameras inside, outside. The chief and I met with their master electrician, Mr. Little. You know, he's good, awesome. He's replacing those lights outside. So with the brighter lumens, I guess, is that correct, Mr. Sean? Yeah, brighter lumens. So we're also looking at a solar light that has the police lights on them as well to mount as well. So that's in the work in progress right now. And so the residents over there, they're just really excited, that attention is just being brought to brightening and lightening. And we've talked about some of the dark spots, period, throughout the town. So glad to see that the movement is being made there. Also, we talked with the port towns. We had the port towns meeting, and we talked about bringing the port towns back together in terms of our annual Port Towns Day event, maybe to collaborations with the 4th of July, because that's a great day, and they're welcoming. They're welcoming to that and looking forward to that. So we'll keep you updated as we continue to have some meetings around that, around the sector plan, meeting with SHA regarding the road improvements for that, the Annapolis Road, and and also the food giveaway distribution for Thanksgiving. We've had a lot of activities and a lot of events actually this year, but over the past 2 to 3 months. So want to definitely thank the staff, because you all continue to do an awesome job. Yes, and I want to say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. You all be safe, and we'll see you next year.
Did you want to mention the meetings starting? Did you set a
Thank you.
date?
Yeah, thank you,
Okay.
Mayor. Yeah, so we're gonna start having. As a matter of fact, I want you all to definitely make sure that you read the newsletters that's mailed to all of our residents. And in January the 20th is the date where we're gonna start having public safety meetings on Saturday morning. It's going to go like from 10 to 11 o'clock. So there will be additional information. Should be something definitely posted to the website, and I'm sure there'll be some more distribution as soon as we get closer to that January 20th date. But mark your calendars, January 20th, here at the Town Hall.
And it's, for those who don't know, Councilmember Brown brought the idea of these community meetings when she was previously on the council. And so each time it may have a different topic. So we'll start out with public safety, and then it may be a different topic for the next one. But the idea is to really have that conversation with the community. Here, the meetings are more formal. With the work session, we're deliberating and talking amongst ourselves, and then we get in the council meeting and we're voting on things. And so that just gives us the opportunity to have a little more conversation with residents and get their input.
Yes.
Thank you so much,
Thank you for
Councilmember
reminding
Brown.
me of that
Of
one.
course,
Yeah,
of
thank
course.
you.
Councilmember McBride, we'll come to you for Ward 2. She said, oh.
Thank you, Mary James. Councilmember McBride has been on the go. I've been attending various events with the office, with the Coffee for Cop, with the toy drive. I stopped by with the food drives. I've been in 2 food drives. The one for Thanksgiving and the one that we gave away for Christmas on Saturday, in which we gave out every single bag of food that we had. Also, I was privileged to be when the officers they even brought the seniors bags this year. And I think they normally do that, don't they, Council? So, yes, And the seniors were very excited. I must tell you that. They were very excited. They were elated that the officers brought the bags to their door. They felt like kings and queens, they said. So thank you very much. I appreciate that. And that's going to be it for my report.
Okay.
But I want to say Merry Christmas to everyone. Please be safe. Please take care of yourselves. And I say that especially because our senior residents, they go through a period of, I don't know, it's just something that they're going through. But please, if you see and if you know seniors, please reach out to them. Please let them know that you care and that you love them. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
Thank you, Councilmember McBride. Next, we'll stick with Ward 2 and go to Councilmember Blunt.
Good evening, good evening. First, I would like to say thank you to the staff for helping throughout the year with the senior gatherings and things that I had. The police officers, thank you all so much. Bladensburg is just so wonderful. I mean, you can't say enough for all the things that you all do for this community. And when I say that, I want to say the Department of Recreation is collecting toiletry items for the unhoused, homeless, some call it homeless, but the unsheltered. If you have any toiletry items, please take them to the Bladensburg Recreation Center. They're collecting them. And I do believe since Bladensburg gets so much, please do the honor to give back. This is your chance to give back for all that you get throughout the year. I know Emerson House, and I'll be working with some other of the senior buildings to see if they can do a collection box, and the rec will pick the items up. So again, I also had the pleasure of the officers coming to Emerson House, and yes, I do run a tight ship. You don't understand, it's real. But seniors are real. So again, thank you all so much for being patient with them when you do come up there to serve. Again, and thank you. Have a happy holiday. Enjoy your holidays with your family. And like Councilmember McBride said, seniors at this time of year get depressed, feel lonely, and a simple call would make them feel great. And I will be working on a couple of initiatives. I have not spoken with the council, as I will before I introduce them on next month. So again, thank you, and I'll be working with the youth as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Blunt.
I just said it.
Oh, your mics are on.
I'm sorry.
We'll move back over to Ward 1 with newly elected Councilmember Dixon.
Thank you, Mayor Jane. I just want to say thank you to the council for a great welcoming to the council board. Thank you so much. Thank you to the police officers, Chief who's not here. Thank you again to the residents who made it possible for me to be here. It's been a good ride for me. I just want to look at the good side, the positive side. I went to that community gala we had last week. It was great being there with the resident, just to, see familiar faces and also get to know a few of the residents more. It was also a great, it was great for me also to be at the Port Town meeting, where I was engaged to learn more about our town as well, the Port Town, and also to give my own feedback as well. Also, I've been stopping by a resident's house just to say thank you and just to see how they're doing. It was also, Bladensburg High School for food distribution was also a good experience. I mean, I did it before. I did it last year, so it was a great experience this year to see also the students coming out doing all the great works, volunteering. I just want to say thank you again, and Merry Christmas. Wait, forever. Thank you, Michelle. You've been so great. Thank you so much. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Vito. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Dixon, for that report. I did provide a written report, and if it's not uploaded online, it will be shortly. But just in recapping November activities, wanted to say thank God we finally had the opening of the library. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That was pretty monumental because that has been a long time coming, and I want to thank everyone, including our staff, and my gosh, the police officers who showed up. I mean, it looked like we were walking into the FBI building. They were all over the place keeping us safe, but so happy for that, and want to thank County Executive Also Brooks and County Council Member Jolene Ivy, who had a strong hand in getting the resources together to make that project come to fruition. Wanted to also just celebrate the City of Mount Rainier's Police Department. They celebrated their 100-year anniversary last month, yes. And so I can't wait till we can celebrate, something similar for our department. But it was great to see Deputy Chief Dickerson there, Chief Collington, and many of our officers there supporting them for that. The PGCMA Legislative Committee kept meeting during the month of November because we needed to refine our legislative priorities, which were presented last Thursday, I guess that was, at the legislative meet and greet. And so that will be part of my December report. Again, want to thank Ms. Renee Green for organizing, along with American Legion Post 131, the Veterans Day celebration. And as was mentioned before, in November, we distributed 400 meals to residents, and that was significant, being able to put smiles on faces for the Thanksgiving holiday. So thank you, Council, for voting to approve those funds, because it would not have happened without you. I want to thank VGC and Now Foundation, our nonprofit partners, and also the high school, Bladensburg High School. The principal there is amazing. Principal Faulkner Jones, Miss V, who's the, community resource person or liaison, she was there, and we had over 100 student volunteers, which doesn't even count the adult volunteers, so we were well prepared to put on a good organized event for our community and distribute those meals. So I want to thank them for that. Last but not least, I just wanted to call out that the chief and I attended a community forum to deal with rising crime related to juvenile crime in particular. And this was hosted by Prince George's County Council member Ingrid Watson. It was held basically to get stats out to the community in terms of what's realistic, so not just making emotional pleas off of what we hear on the news, but really stats from Chief Aziz for Prince George's County Police Department. We heard stats from Prince George's County State's Attorney Aisha Braveboy. We heard feedback from Superintendent Millard House, who's in charge of the Prince George's County Public Schools, to really understand what's happening with youth crime from their perspective. But then we also heard from a Bowie High School student. And having a child tell you why she's afraid and why her peers are afraid to go to school and the dangers that they're having to face is significant. So following those presentations, we did have the opportunity to sit and discuss some of the legislation that the husband of Councilmember Watson, Senator Ron Watson, is proposing in the upcoming legislative session. So if the council could please take a look at my report. Attachment B is the handout that we received with the bills that Senator Watson is looking to push forward in Annapolis. And so if we could just talk through them at the January work session. Chief Collington will likely be here, and Deputy Chief if you're able to. But just to get a consensus on where we are on these bills, and if folks are up for testifying and expressing formal support once the session happens. So again, if you could just take some time to get familiar with that so we can have a good conversation in January. So that concludes my report on November activities. And as has been said before, I want to thank our staff for an amazing year. Yes, they have been remarkable. There's no way that we could have put on all these community events, plus taking care of all these grants, dealing with resident concerns, resolution, mediation. I mean, you guys have done a tremendous amount of work. While we're at work, you guys are here doing the work. And for that, we cannot thank you enough. We want to thank our residents who have been engaged throughout the year and encourage more residents to get more engaged with us. And with that, I want to say God bless you. Happy holidays to everyone. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. If you don't believe in any of those, then just be thankful that you're alive. And as my grandpa says, be thankful that you are above the ground and the ground is not above you. How about that? So with that, if we have no further items for tonight, I will call for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Brown. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember McBride. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, let it be known by the saying of aye.
Aye.
Any nays? No nays. We're adjourned until 2024. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Christmas, Happy New Year.